Hi and welcome to another weekly update from seekingchange.co.uk, and I'm Ian Wallace. What I'd like to look at today is something that would come up at this time of the year with a lot of people in working out or trying to ascertain what somebody is needing or requiring. We put an awful lot of energy into trying to understand what other person's needs are usually, certainly if we're in any kind of dialogue or relationship with them. The needs are usually something whereby we make assumptions. We make kind of a perception process out of it, and we assume that somebody will or will not need something or other. In my world, if we need something, that means that we're out of control. It means that we don't have an opportunity to be any different. My world is more of wanting things instead of needing things. If we want something, then we do have choices, we do have opportunities. But if we need something, it is controlling us, we're not controlling it. So working out what we feel is somebody's needs is never easy, in a sense, no matter how well we know them. The only way we can work that out, really, is to ask them and to interact with them in that process. So by asking them or getting to understand what they really need, would be much more of a helpful process. But likelihood is we don't do that. We just assume and we just do things. A lot of presents over the Christmas period would have been bought with our minds that says this person would really appreciate this or would really like this. But unless we know that person very, very well, chances are that it'll either go into a charity shop, maybe after Christmas, or it might get stuck in a drawer and never get used. So there's a lot of things that we buy, that we provide, that actually people don't need, and they never did, but we think they did or we think we should. So it's a really good idea to try and find out from people what their wants are. And if we supply the wants, if we supply that process, then they're more likely to be interactive with us and enjoy their life even, depending on what the process is. So when you look at somebody's needs and wants, try and ascertain with them what it is they need or want, and don't you assume you know, because you never know anybody that well, no matter who they are. I have people in the room which are in relationships, sometimes marriages, sometimes living together. And when we do a process of reawareness, reconnection in the relationship, because usually by the time they reach me, the relationship has got some issues, some problems, or is not connected as much as they feel it should be. So when we do the process of reconnection, I try to, in some sense, get people to understand each other more. And that is about what they may want with their life, where they may want to go, what they want within their life, what they want to see as their part of their life. And it's kind of listing down, and I make it a contractual process in some senses where they write this down. They don't just say it. And then they can explain to the other person what they want of life, what they want from the other person, usually, and where they want to get with that, and how they see that being achieved, or how they see that they've achieved it in some way, shape, or form. And if each partner does that and gives that list or that listing to the other person, and then, as long as they're being honest and open, and then there's much likelihood that they can reconnect the relationship in a much more productive way. And it's really hard sometimes to do that verbally, because our words can move and change and alter, and Chinese whispers, as I've talked to you before about, we can pick up on the things we want to hear instead of the things we are told. And so writing it down and making a contractual process with it is usually a good idea, because then the other person can have a look at the listing that their partners give them, and they can see whether or not they can provide those needs or not. And if they can't, then they can have a discussion about what they may be able to do in that process, or what may be unavailable in that process. And at least people are more aware of what the relationship structure is all about, and how it moves forward. And then they have choices to accept, to negotiate, maybe compromise, or maybe to say, well, actually, I can't do that anymore. And if that's a sticking point, then maybe the relationship needs to end. So sometimes it's a good idea to have those kind of conversations, but not easy to do on your own, I'm afraid. hopefully that made sense, and if you do need any more from me, then have a look at seekingchange.co.uk, or alternatively drop me a line, and then I can include some of your situations in these weekly blogs. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.